बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं
बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि
बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि
बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि
बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि
बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि
बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि
बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि
बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि
बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि
बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि
बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि
बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि
बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि
बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि
बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं गच्छामि
बुद्धं शरणं गच्छामि धम्मं शरणं गच्छामि संघं शरणं
the Venerable Bhikkhu and Bhikkhunis, the Honorable, the leader of Buddhist organization and Buddhist society, distinguished audiences attending this important event, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dhammaya, Namo Sanghaya. Good evening to all Venerable Bhikkhus and Bhikkhunis and respectable audiences reside in the Western time zone, in Eastern Western time zone, and good morning to all Venerable Bhikkhus and Bhikkhunis and the honorable audience reside in the Eastern time zone. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Upasika Metta Padma Megawati Santoso, one of the disciples of Ayas at Wihara Kusalayani, Indonesia. In this blessing occasion, I am honored to be able to facilitate the program activities. Today, we are all gathered in this virtual gathering to express our highest gratitude to the Buddha, who have taught us all the way to free ourselves from the suffering, and to other enlightenment teachers, especially her most venerable Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī, who have taught us her great perseverance to enter the monastic life and had lived fully in accord with the Bhikkhunis Patimokkha. She led us examples that the great teaching of the Buddha about loving kindness shows no differences on spiritual achievement based on gender. The path to enlightenment is the noble and eightfold path as taught by the Buddha, is actually for all beings. Women, as equal as men, are able to become arahats. At this time, let us celebrate her achievement and her great example by following the program as an opportunity to reflect deeply on Buddha's teaching through the commemoration of the Parinibbāna, her highest venerable Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī, so that we can learn from Buddha's enlightenment and apply to our own lives. So today we will start the program with paying homage to the Buddha, refuge in the Triple Gem, three salutation Tiwandana, Aga Sawika Wandana, led by the Venerable Bhikkhuni Santini Mahateri, the Chief Coordinator of UTBSI Dhamma Program. Please allow me to invite her Venerable Bhikkhuni Santini Mahateri to start the chanting. Ayah, the time and stage is yours.
Okay, thank you. Most venerable Sangha members, my dear Dhamma sisters and Dhamma brothers, ladies and gentlemen, let's chant together. Arahang Samyadidang Jambuddho Bhagav Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivademi Swakhato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Sanghang Namami Handayani มายังบุตทัสสะภะคะวะโตปุมบะภากนามาการังกโรมาเสนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะบุตธังสารนังกัจฉามิธัมมังสรณังกัจฉามิสังฆังสรณังกัจฉามิดุติยัมปิบุตธังสรณังกัจฉามิดุติยัมปิธัมมังสรณังกัจฉามิดุติยัมปิสังฆังสรณังกัจฉามิตติยัมปิบุตธังสรณังกัจฉามิตติยัมปิธัมมังสรณังกัจฉามิตติยัมปิสังฆังสรณังกัจฉามิอิติปิโสภะคะวะอะระหังสัมมาสัมพุทโธวิจจารณะสัมปันโนสุขโตโลกวิดูอนุตตโรปุริสธัมมาสารถิสัทธาเดวมนุสสานังบุตโธภะคะวะติสวากขาโตภะคะวะตาธัมโมสันดิตถิโกอาคาลิโกเอหิปัสสิโกโอปานายิโกปัจจัตตังเวดิตัมโบวิญญูหิติสุปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆอุจุปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆญาญาปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆสามิจิปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆ ยาดิดังจัตตาริปุริสายุกานิอัตถาปุริสาปุกกาลาเอสะภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆอาหุเนโยปาหุเนโยดักขิเนโยอัญจาลิการณิโยอนุตตรังปุญญเกตตังโลกัสสตินัตถิเมสารนังอัญญังบุญโธเมสารนังวารังเอเตนะสัจจวัจเจนะโสทิยเตโหตุสัพพดานัตถิเมสารนังอัญญังธัมโมเมสารนังวารังเอเตนะสัจจวัจเจนะโสทิยเตโหตุสัพพดานัตถิเมสารนังอัญญังสังโฆเมสารนังวารังเอเตนะสัจจวัจเจนะโสทิยเตโหตุสัพพดารัตัญญูนังภิกขุนีนังโกตมิจินามาตุชาทาปิตาอังกัตถานัมหิสัดาสดทิงการโรตุโนมหาปัญญานามังกัตถาเขมาเทรีติปากาตาสวิกาบุตถเศรษฐาสาสดาสดทิงการโรตุโนเทรีอุปปาลาวันนาจาอิทธิมันตินามุตตมาสวิกาบุตถเศรษฐาสาสดาสดทิงการโรตุโนสาธุสาธุสาธุ Sorry, Upasika Megawati, please unmute.
Oh. Pardon me, Ayah. Pardon me. Ayah Anumodana for the chanting. Scientific studies has found that chanting, Buddhism chanting, beside of paying homage to the Triple Gem and remembering Buddha's teaching, it definitely can also decrease stress, anxiety, and depressive symptom. By listening to Ayah's chanting this morning, may all of us have positive minds, moods, feelings of relaxation, and the focused attention so that we can follow the program better. Anumodana, Ayah.
Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī Theri Apadana.
I have attended on the teacher. I have done the Buddha's teaching. I have put down the heavy burden. Everything that leads to renewed existence has been rooted out. The arm for which one goes forth from the home to the homeless state, that aim has been attained by me. All bonds are destroyed. The Buddha and his doctrine remain undiminished. Now it is time for me to become quenched. Do not grieve for me, my children. Kondanya, Ananda, Nanda, etc., Rahula, and the conqueror remain. The order is happy and united. The sectarians have cut down their trees. The followers of the Okaka dynasty have risen up, crushing Mara. Children, is it not time now for me to be extinguished through quenching? That which I sought after for a long time is accomplished today. This is a time for beating the drum of joy. Children, why these tears? If you have any sympathy for me, and if you have any gratitude, then make a firm effort, all of you, for the continuation of the true doctrine. The fully awakened one gave women the going forth when I entreated him. Therefore, just as I would delight in it, so should you practice it.
Having urged them on in this way, at the head of the 500 bhikkhunis, Gotamī went to the Buddha, paid homage to him, and spoke these words.
O Sublime One, I am your mother, and you, O Hero, are my father. O giver of the happiness of the true doctrine, O protector, I'm born of you, O Gotama. O Sublime One, this physical body of yours was raised by me. This blameless body of the doctrine of mine was raised by you. For a short period, I gave you milk to drink to assuage your thirst. You gave me the milk of the doctrine to drink, peace for all time. O great sage, you are without debt, protecting us from bondage. Desirous of a child, women request to obtain such a son. Whoever was mother to kings such as Mandata, she was plunged into the sea of continued existences. You have made me cross over the ocean of continued existences, O Sun. It is easy for women to obtain the title Chief Queen, Mother of the Kind, but it is extremely difficult to obtain the title Mother of the Buddha. And that aspiration of mine, O great hero, has been fulfilled through you. Everything I aspired to, whether great or small, has been fulfilled by me. I wish to obtain final quenching, abandoning this body. Grant me permission, O hero, O ender of misery, O leader. Stretch forth your feet, soft as a lotus, and covered with the marks of wheels, hooks, and banners. I will make obeisance to you, best of sons. Make your body have the appearance of mask of gold. Having made it plain, your body is seen by me. I will go to peace, O leader.
Then the conqueror caused his aunt to see his body possessed of the 32 marks, adorned and very radiant, like the newly risen sun appearing from a dense cloud. Then she fell down headfirst at the soles of his feet, marked with the wheel that had the radiance of a new sun, and that was like a lotus in blossom.
I bow down to the Son of Men, the banner of the family of the sun. I shall not see you again. I shall not see your final death. O chief of the world, we women are thought to perform all sorts of bad deeds. If there is any fault in me, may you forgive me, O compassionate one. I requested the going forth for women again and again. If there was any fault in that, may you forgive me, O bull among men. O hero, the bhikkhunis were instructed by me with your permission. If there is any bad guidance there, may you forgive me, O forgiving Lord.
Indeed, what is to be dug up in an existence that was adorned with good virtues, free from harm? What answer shall I give you as you are going to quenching? My order of bhikkhus is completely pure, fit to escape from this world, seeing the elements of loss go out like the markings on the moon at dawn.
So the Venerable Bhikkhus and Bhikkhunis, the Honorable, the leader of Buddhist organization and Buddhist society, distinguished audiences attending this important event. We have already start the program with paying homage, and then we look at the video of the life story, Venerable Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī Mahateri Apadana. Now it is the time for listening to the speaker for this morning, the Venerable Bhikkhuni Bodhicitta, that will provide us with Dhamma Desana, teaching the Dhamma, the Bhikkhuni, with the title of the Bhikkhuni leadership. Before I welcome the Venerable Bhikkhuni Bodhicitta Teri, please allow me to introduce her important contribution to the teaching and spreading Buddha Dhamma. Venerable Bhikkhuni Bodhicitta is based in Melbourne and is the founder and the spiritual director of the International Center for Inner Peace and Happiness in Australia, the founder of an International Meditation Center in Agalawata, Sri Lanka, and the Buddhist chaplain at RMIT University, Melbourne. Venerable was educated at Mrs. College and later at Devi Balika. She started her career as a medical scientist in Australia, following her degree in biomedicine from Monash University. In 2007, Venerable was ordained in Buddha Gaya as a seminary by the General Secretary of Mahabodhi Society in India, Venerable Bhikkhu Siwali Mahatera. In 2010, Venerable received her Upasampada under tutelage of Venerable Dr. Punanji Mahatera, Venerable Dr. Bhikkhuni Kusuma, and several senior Sangha members, including Venerable Kirama Wimalajoti and Venerable Bhikkhuni Mainuluwe Dhamma Santi at the Deka Duala Bhikkhuni Training Center in Sri Lanka. So please welcome Bhikkhuni Bodhicitta Teri to provide us with the teaching of Buddha.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. With the permission of the Mahasangha, may I speak few words in the Dhamma. Bhikkhus and Bhikkhunis, I put my head down on your feet and pay my humble respect to the Mahasangha attending this webinar. Distinguished guests, devotees, wish you all a good morning, for some good afternoon, for some good night. May you all be well and happy, and welcome to the United Theravada Bhikkhuni Sangha International Dhamma program. So we are commemorating our leader, our mother, our inspiration, Bhikkhuni Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī Arahant Teri's passing away. Arahanta Mahateri, Prajapati Gotamī Mahateri, paved the way for us. So all women could follow the Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī Devi's footsteps and find liberation from all kinds of physical and mental suffering. So in the history, when we talk about the leaders, if we are to choose who is the best women leader, undoubtedly it will be Bhikkhuni Arahat Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī Mahātē. No other women have given such a leadership. To be a renunciant, to be in the Mahasangha, to become a bhikkhuni, and to live as a bhikkhuni, and to become an arahanteri, and then to develop this bhikkhuni sangha and be the mother was not an easy task. Those days, there was no lady doctors, no lady engineers, no lady lawyers. It could have been much easier even for someone to take a leadership role in those roles. But it was not small feat to give the leadership, to become a nun, and to enter into the order as a bhikkhuni, and to lead and pave the way for other women also to be in the Mahasangha. Mahasangha was the most reverential society, most highest esteemed. Even when the king, they come to see the Buddha and the Sangha, they would put their crown down and bow down. So the most esteemed society was the Mahasangha society. But in India at that time, the women were treated like the low caste or like a Shudras, like the servants. They were not given much importance. They were not given credit. They were kept bound to the home. They were only good enough to do the cooking, cleaning, bring up the children, to raise the children, look after the husband needs. They were only good for the domesticated things. Their ability to learn something and to put it to practice and to manage and to give a leadership was not really taken into account. So when Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī Mahāteri asks the Buddha 3 times to go forth, the society was not ready to accept this, a lady being in this Mahasangha. Because it was always only the men who were venerated and only the men who were looked high up upon. So it needed more time for people to fix the faith, the trust on the Buddha and the Buddha's teaching. And when the time was right, when the place was right, then when Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī, the queen at that time, denounced the queenship and then came with 500 of the Sakyan clan ladies and the servants in the palace and asked for this going forth. Then at that time, now that it had become a need of the society and Buddha was in Vaisali, the kings in Vaisali, the Vajjayans, and the people in Vaisali had so much respect to the Lord Buddha, as Buddha really helped them when they had the Tumbiya, like this corona was going on in that Vaisali city, and there was this famine, and there was this viruses, the illnesses were spreading, and people were dying in the streets, and the bodies were piling up. So then there was this amanusas, even the ghosts started preying on these carcasses, and there was this mess in Vaisali. We call this Tumbiya, the three fears, the most worst kind of fears were spreading around. And the whole country, whole economy, the whole city was going down, like what's happening today, similar to what's happening today. So when there was no one who can help the Vajjayans, only the Buddha took the challenge to come and help them and wiped out all these three and help them to restore their normal life. So the country prospered again. Buddha taught them the Dhamma, and they all became the Buddha Anugamikas. They all went into the Buddha Dhamma Sangha refuge. And they followed the Buddha's Dhamma, and they even followed the Dasaraja Dhamma, and became one of the most prosperous cities, which Buddha declared that as long as these Vajji kings are going to follow these 10 rules that the king should abide, the Dasaraja Dhamma, no one will be able to conquer this Vaisali, which was the case for a long time. As long as they abided in that Dasaraja Dhamma, no one managed to conquer that city. So these Vajjayan kings were so grateful to the Lord Buddha for what Buddha had done to them in helping them when they were in really need and no one else managed to help them. It was only the Buddha's refuge was there for them. So I guess when Buddha was in Vaisali, that was the best place to start this nuns order, because Buddha had the support from the kings from the top to the bottom to the top. Everyone in the society had so much gratitude to the Buddha, and they treated Buddha like a living God. So when Buddha accepted the nuns into the order, women into the order, there was no arguments, there was no questions about how we are going to protect them, what to do, this, that, and the other. There was no challenging the order, but they just embraced. And it was not an easy thing to provide places for 500 women all of a sudden turning up in Vaisali, and Buddha accepting them into the order, because the time was right, the place was right, the support and everything is there. So the security for the ladies also there. So everything was perfect in there. Buddhas only do things when things are timely and when things are needed, and when things are timely and when things can, take root and it can flourish. So they see everything in all aspects, and when something is perfect, they will give the go ahead. So this accepting the women into the order started in Vaisali because all the conditions were perfect there for the nuns to stay there, to live. And we saw in the history that nuns flourished there. So from the first day, it was not easy task for the kings to the people in the Vaisali to provide 500, to let 500 people stay at night safely. You can imagine how much buildings would have had to go on. Like if we have a function today, if we have hundreds attending, we have to put tents, we have to do this, we have to do that, cater, the security, how many things we have to organize. So you can imagine how busy must have been the kings at that time when Buddha accepted these 500 women into the order. But they did it happily. And they were given the best. These ladies were given the best. And now that they have become the nuns, they even venerated them. Even the kings came and put down their head on the nuns' feet and venerated them. So this radical thing that these ladies were the lowest in the society, but now they are looked up high upon, like the Buddha, Dhamma, the Sangha. So this radical event took place in Vaisali. And ever since then, the kings supported, and the people in Vaisali supported, the Upasaka Upasikas supported, same as they would support the bhikkhus, they supported the bhikkhunis. So the bhikkhunis flourished there. And then after some time, it comes to a month like this, the February, and the Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī theory came to see the Buddha, and we saw it in the video. What happened? The conversations very heart-touching, and Mahāpajāpatī Arahat theory asked for the permission to attain Mahāparinibbāna. She had the wish that now that she had given the leadership for the women to come out from that lowest place in the society to the highest. And not only live as a layperson and just get these honorary titles or the veneration, but she even proved if given the chance, the women can also get rid of all of their emotions, all of their negativity, all of the asravas. They can purify the mind, and they can develop their mind, they can develop their wisdom, and they also can attain full enlightenment. And she proved that. That's why I said the most hardest leadership to give was the one that the Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī Arahat Mahatheri gave. Because it was not just leading a company, not just leading some doctors, not just leading some lawyers, not leading some president or a vice president or a, the politicians. It's about leading even into the full enlightenment. So Arahat Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī theory proved that if women are given the chance and given the training, given the education, given the support, given the environment, they also can do everything that what men can achieve. The best thing a human being can do is attain this full enlightenment. Because no matter what we do, we're still bound in suffering, physical and mental suffering. Why? Because our selfishness. Why our self-centered thoughts? Why we are living with this Sakkaya Ditthhiya as I, me, and myself. So as long as we have this selfishness, self-centeredness, the Sakkaya Ditthhi, we are bound to suffer. And not just the suffering for oneself, but all the suffering in the world is because of this Mithya Drishti. Because when we become selfish, we only think about ourselves. So we disregard about others. So we work with self-interest, very selfishly. And then everything leads to conflict, to disharmony, and even to crimes, ending up even in world wars. This is how all the suffering starts. So Buddha pointed out, if someone is wanting to live peacefully and happily, we need to learn to get rid of this Sakkaya Ditthi. We need to be free from our selfishness, the self-centeredness. We need to realize selflessness. We need to get enlightened. That's where all the answers to bring the world peace, the harmony, without and within. If one can attain this, if one can be peaceful within, they can be peaceful with all the outside forces. Nothing will shake their mind. No conflicts, no disharmony, no wars. So finally we have achieved that human quest for the peace and happiness. So it is only the full enlightenment that can bring that peace and happiness, quench our thirst for the peace and happiness. So after being born as a human being, the best thing to achieve is the full enlightenment. Because no matter what we do, even if we become a doctor, even if we become an engineer, a politician, king, an emperor, as long as we have the sense of self, we are bound by this self-centeredness, we are bound to physical and mental suffering within and without. So if we want to fully realize the human quest, to be peaceful and happy, the only way is to follow the Noble Eightfold Path, starting from getting rid of this Sakkaya Ditthi, realizing the Four Noble Truths, coming to the Samyak Drishti means getting rid of the Sakkaya Ditthi and starting your way towards the Nibbana, towards the full enlightenment. And as a human being, that is the best path to walk, and that's the best thing we can do to achieve this full enlightenment, so we can quench our thirst that we always had as a being to be peaceful and happy. So this will be the best thing a human being can achieve. So the men had the opportunity to do that, but the women were still not given that opportunity. That's when the Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī Teri had to step forward and taken a leadership role and prove to the world that even the women can achieve that higher status, that what a human being can do, what a human being can achieve, the highest thing, even the ladies can do it, the women can do it. And then on that day of the Mahāparinibbāna day, Buddha requested Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī Teri to show the colors. Buddha requested Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī Teri to show what she has developed, the feed that she had developed her mind, all the psychic powers that she has developed, her goodness and wisdom was to show to the whole world. So with the invitation of the Buddha, Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī Teri rose to the sky with psychic powers. Then she created these lotuses and she sat on this lotus. And then she created multiple of Mahāpajāpatī Arahat Gotamī Teris. And then also the other the Arahat Teris who were around her also rose to the sky, and they also did the psychic display. You can imagine it would have been like you go into the Formosa in Singapore or in Melbourne, in countries now in Disneyland, we have these shows with the light rays. The light rays are either projected to the water or to the sky, to a screen, and then we see this display and we open our eyes in amaze and then we watch. Wow. So it would have been like that. Everyone in Vaisali watched this magic show that was done not with light rays, not with any tricks, but the real human bhikkhunis were doing it. So the people really gained trust and the faith in the Buddha, and also the bhikkhunis, the ladies. Oh, this is what they can do, because this is not small feat. Normal people, they only can jump maybe few feet high, high jump. They can't race up to the sky. They can't sit on a lotus in the sky. They can't fly in the sky. They can't do this display in the sky. But these arahats, Mahāpajāpatī, Gotamī, Teri, and the other arahats did that, the Teris. So they really started believing in the powers of the bhikkhunis, believing in what the ladies can do if they also given the chance and if they develop their mind. So they were so grateful to those bhikkhunis and also to the Buddha for helping these ladies to come to that state. So Bhikkhuni Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī Teri did her work perfectly. She gave the leadership so perfectly that she was given the opportunity to show what she has done, to show what she has achieved, and she did and proved. And then after they even got the permission to go and attain the Parinibbāna, Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī Teri rose to the sky, it says in the sutra. All the other 500 Teris that followed her rose to the sky, and they flew through the sky, and then only they went to their respected kutis, and then they wished to attain the Parinibbāna. So you can imagine this. So Mahāpajāpatī Arahat Gotamī Teri's leadership was not a normal one. It was an extraordinary leadership that no other lady or a woman have given that in the history. So after Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī Teri's leadership, there has been many women who benefited from that. Thanks to the Lord Buddha and thanks to the Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī Mahāteri. And after some time, the Sanghamitta Mahāteri went to Sri Lanka and started the Bhikkhuni order in Sri Lanka. And those Bhikkhunis then, at that time, the Bhikkhuni Sanghamitta Teri also gave a leadership. And it was at that time was even very scared to go into the sea, very scary to go in a sea journey, because there were sea pirates. It's about life and death matter, you going through the sea. Only men would have that courage to do. But the Sanghamitta Arahat Teri said, no, if the king in Sri Lanka needs me, if my brother needs me, there is a calling. My dear father, the King Asoka, please grant me the permission for me to take this sea voyage, and I have to be there. So she was very courageous, brave, and she took that sea voyage and went to Sri Lanka and gave the leadership to the women in that country to become bhikkhunis and to become Arahat Teris. Then after her, there was bhikkhunis from Sri Lanka who gave leadership to spread these bhikkhunis in all around the world. It's in the historical chronicles that one bhikkhuni called the Devasara with other bhikkhunis went to China with the invitation from the Chinese king at that time in Nantian. And again took a sea voyage, risking the life, but not shrinking, but bravely stepping into the shores, wanting to go and help others who they haven't even seen. They even haven't seen China. They don't know who is in China. But there was invitation that the ladies in the China wanted to go forth they were looking forward to have bhikkhunis from Sri Lanka. So they just went to help these unknown beings, unknown sisters. They risked their lives and put themselves into the sea voyage and took the leadership and went there and gave the leadership for these bhikkhuni order to start in China. Then until today, that bhikkhuni ordination continues, that bhikkhuni lineage continues. And then very recently, about, compared to the history, about 1,000 years, the bhikkhunis were in Sri Lanka, but after that, the bhikkhus and bhikkhunis both got wiped out due to the wars and due to the famine and all the problems in Sri Lanka. So after that, there was no bhikkhunis in Theravada bhikkhunis in Sri Lanka for some time. But after more than 1,000 years passed, there was another courageous leader that appeared among us. That was late Venerable Dr. Bhikkhuni Kusumatheri. Then she gave the leadership. Again, like from India, like during the Buddha's time, how the bhikkhunis went, the Mahāsanghamita Theri went to Sri Lanka, from India to Sri Lanka, and then from Sri Lanka, the bhikkhuni order in the world started. The same way, again, the history repeated in a way in 1996. From India, the Mahabodhi Society of India again revived this bhikkhuni order with the help of the living bhikkhunis from the other side of the world, from China, Korea, Taiwan. And then this bhikkhuni Kusumatheri gave the leadership. She was brave to take that role when there was so much opposition in the people, in the Sangha. But she was like a elephant. She didn't really listen to all this, that, and the other, or she was not taken back. But she put her feet forward, and until the day she passed away, a few months ago, she gave a true leadership. So she was not shaken by the obstacles. But she went to India, became a bhikkhuni, and showed that, took that leadership upon her, and then became a leader, and then brought that bhikkhuni order to Sri Lanka, and then started it again in Sri Lanka, lighted that lamp again. And then from Sri Lanka again, the bhikkhuni order, the Theravada bhikkhuni tradition flourished to the four corners of the world, to United States, to Thailand, to Vietnam, to Indonesia, to Malaysia, to Australia, to all around the world. It was from there. It's like history repeating after 1,000 years. So now we have leaders, Venerable Dhammananda in Thailand. Thailand was a country that has such resistance for the bhikkhuni order, but she didn't taken back from the resistance. She was also a true leader, like an elephant king, a queen. She came to Sri Lanka and she got the ordination, became a bhikkhuni, got trained, and went back to the Thailand, and now she's giving the leadership there. The same way the Venerable Liu Pap took the ordination from Sri Lanka, went to Vietnam, and she's giving the leadership there. They are current bhikkhuni leaders that we can venerate, and Arya Tataloka Mahateri in USA, and Venerable Santini Mahateri in Indonesia. And also we are to share the merits today, also to remember the first bhikkhuni in Australia soil who got ordained is Ajahn Vayama, has passed away, and today is the 3 months commemoration day. So like that, then all these brave women, they also pioneered, they also came to these lands, and they are currently giving leadership. So this leadership, I guess, is not something that we can implant, but I guess the real true leaders are born. It's a quality in them that they are very brave. They know their mission, they have a vision, and when they set forth into their mission, they don't turn back. They just move forward. And we look into these, I was talking about the leaders in the past and the present, and when you look into these leaders, you can see all of them have this so strong courage, the strength, the courage, the bravery, and also their patience, also their the loving kindness, compassion, and the wisdom. So we can see they are also following all the qualities that Buddha had asked us to develop to be a leader. They all have that. So it is our duty now again to help the next generation or help the future generations to come with the leadership. So they only can guide, but the others have to follow this. So these leaderships, it is like duty of a leader is also to help build, grow more leaders. So this is why this United Theravada Bhikkhuni Sangha International is to help the generation and the generations to come in the future, also to follow the footsteps of this great leadership of Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī Teri, and to take the leadership into this current society where it's much needed now, because the only way to find that peace and to find the human quest is through the Dhamma. So we need the leaders to help everyone in the society, and especially help the ladies to follow this path. So we have the inspiration from the past, starting from the great leadership that was given to us by Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī Arahanta Mahāteri, and then from Arahat Sanghamitra Mahāteri, and then in our times we had late Bhikkhuni Kusumateri, late Ajahn Vayama, and also presently we have all these Bhikkhuni leaders that I mentioned before. So we all have these inspirations, so we can follow their footsteps and help oneself and help serve others also, so they can find their true leader in them. And when you find the leader inside, you can give that leadership to the outside. There will be followers. That's why I said it's not a thing that we can train and bring, but it's up to the individual. But what the Bhikkhuni, United Theravada Bhikkhuni Sangha International is trying to do is to help the future generations to find the inspiration from these legendary Bhikkhunis and give that inspiration and help them also to find the leader within, and then to give the leadership to the outside, to follow the Dhamma, so everyone can have peace and happiness. Now, when we listen to, I was actually today just listening to some leadership, motivational talks in the West, because I was only thinking about the Buddhist way. Then I thought, hang on, I better listen to some of what the Westerners say about the leadership. What is the leadership means? And I thought, just before this ceremony started, I was just listening to a talk, because only at that time I thought of listening to it. So they were talking about some leadership qualities, and I was like, okay, I identified them in the Mahamangala Sutra. They are in the Parinibbāna Sutra, all these good qualities that we need to develop. So what Buddha had pointed out is that if we develop all these good qualities, like Bahu Satchancha Sippancha, Vinayocha Susikkito, you see, Atta Samma Panidicha, Subhasitacha Yavacha, Disdanancha Dhammacharyacha, Nyatakanancha Sangavo, Anuvajjan Kammani, Isarati Virati Papa, Majjapanancha Sanyamo, Appamadocha Dhammosu, Garavocha Nimatocha, Santutticha Katanyuta, Kanticha Sovachasata, all these, the qualities, they are the qualities that a true leader needs to have. So even in the Parinibbāna Sutta, you know, what we talk about, Sakko Ujucha Sujucha, Suocho Chasa Muduanatimani, Santussakocha Subarocha, Appakichocha Sallahuku, Santrindiocha Nipakocha, Appagabu Puliswanamikito. All these qualities, if someone develops, they actually become a true leader. Because they are the quality of the heart, they are the quality, pure qualities. So when someone is pure, they become selfless. It is this selfless person who can give a true leadership, forgetting about themselves and wanting to serve the other 100%, so they can be available and they can give that leadership to the others for the benefit of others. This is how that our great ancestors, Mahāpajāpatī, Gotamī Mahāteri, Sanghamitta Mahāteri, Devasara, Bhikkhuni Devasara Mahāteri, and late Bhikkhuni Kusuma, late Ajahn Vayama, and all of them have shown. It is the practice in the Dhamma and embodying these qualities that had made them great leaders. And also, if you look into the current living Bhikkhuni leaders, you can see how strong they are in their practice. It is the practice that have made them the true leader. So we need to, if we actually learn these sutras, the Mahamangala Sutra, Parinibbāna Sutra, it's all there what Buddha is asking us to do. Buddha is saying, develop these good qualities. Develop this, lessening up the selfishness, lessening up the sense of self, and get rid of the Sakkaya Ditthi. Start it from this Mrudu Anadimani. Become humble. And when we become less and less egoistic, when we dissolve that sense of I, me, and myself, if you work towards getting rid of the Sakkaya Ditthi into the stream entry, you will start to slowly embark on this selfless journey. So when someone is selfless, developing that selflessness, they have a lot of patience. Instead of anger, arrogance, frustration, they will have little anger, little frustration, little fear, little anxiety, worries. And if you get rid of the whole lot, you'll be free from all that. But for a true leadership, you need those qualities, because giving a leadership is not an easy thing. It's a very difficult thing to do. So when you do that, you have to collaborate with other people. Leadership doesn't mean living by yourself. It's about leading others. So you're working with people, you're working with numbers. So to work with numbers, it's not easy, because everyone has different qualities. So you need to have that ability to understand, ability to have that patience, ability to not get angry, not get frustrated, not have anxiety and worries. If you want to be a successful true leader, you need those good qualities, that strength from inside. So you become very friendly. You are liked, and then when they like you, they will follow you. So then you can show them a good path that you're treading, that you're leading and showing them a good path, a path to live a good life, the Dhamma way of life. So all the things that, this morning that the leadership motivational speaker was talking about, when I looked into these qualities, it's all in here, in the Mahamangala Sutta and in the Karaniya-metta Sutta. So if we develop these good qualities, we all can become true leaders, and we need that. Few leaders can't do much. In order to help, is it 7 billion people in this population in the world? How many leaders we need? A lot of leaders. So today we have, like the Bhikkhuni leaders who lived in the past. So the Bhikkhunis who live in the present also have the responsibility to lead others and to help others also to become a leader. So we can have the future Bhikkhuni leadership. So we can have ladies in the future who have that so much courage, the patience, the endurance, that humbleness, the ethics, the morals, and they will have all these good qualities that a leader should have. And because then they have that charisma, they have that inspirational way of talking, acting, they have all that good speech, good action, and it touches others' heart, so then people will follow. So this leadership is about leading by example. So it's not about going to a uni and learning something and then coming and transferring it to others. No, the Buddha didn't go to a university learning about a leadership. Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī Mahāteri didn't go to the university and get a degree about the leadership. But it is something that comes with you. When you develop these good qualities, automatically you will become a leader, because the people will come and ask you, because you're living with those qualities. You're living with the qualities that people like, the people want. And that's what we really need in the society today. All the good qualities, what we call this dasaparamita. Virtue, the generosity, and the virya, that energy to not to do the wrong things, but to do the right thing. And, starting from there, all these good qualities that a human being needs, if we follow the Dhamma, we develop them in us. So when we develop them, it shines forth. So you become an example, leading by example, and others will want to come and learn from you. How did you do it? Like, for example, we all have to face problems. Not everyone the same in this world. So a true leader, when they are facing a problem, they don't go into the fear mode. They don't go into that developing anxiety and worries. They don't get angry. They don't get frustrated. But what they do, they look into that problem and see what's the cause of this. And how can I solve this? What are the opportunities in this to excel, to develop the good qualities within me? So they always will handle that in the positive way. So they will use their patience, they will use all these dataparamita qualities, all these good qualities, and they will make that an opportunity, that obstacle, that problem, they will make it like a stepping stone. And they will use it to advance in their path, but without fighting, without even going into this anger mode or to the fear, the anxiety, worry mode, and without destroying the peace, but they will maintain the peace and solve the problem and will not stop their journey but will continue. So that is the quality of a true leader. And I see those qualities in the bhikkhunis giving the leadership today. In Arya Tataloka, in the Venerable Dhammananda Mahateri, and in the Venerable Liupap Mahateri, and Venerable Santini Mahateri. So they are true inspirations, they are true leaders. So we are so lucky to have them. And so we must make use of their knowledge, their understanding, their practice, their experience. It's all about we sharing the experience and learning from that, so the others can learn from that and learn how to really be a true leader, how not to really get stuck in obstacle, how not to get shaken by a problem or obstacle, or how not to take a step back but only to go forward. So when we have this true living leaders, it's an inspiration, it's a strength. So I feel we are very lucky to have these Mahatheris walking in front of us, following the Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī Arahant Mahatheri's footsteps, and giving us the leadership. So I really thank them from the bottom of my heart for being the courageous, the brave nuns they are, and taking this bhikkhuni order into these different parts of the world when there is no one there to support them, but not knowing what will happen, but still going forth and starting this order, and now they have flourished. So I also want to acknowledge all the Bhikkhu Sangha who was behind that and helped these bhikkhunis to establish this bhikkhuni order in these respective countries. And I hope that this Bhikkhu Sangha will continue to help us, all the bhikkhunis, present and the future. So when we have the Bhikkhu Sangha guidance, support and everything, we can have more and more bhikkhunis and bhikkhuni leaders, and more and more women finding peace and happiness in this chaotic world. So in this occasion, first I would really like to pay my humble respect and thank, share the merits wholeheartedly from the bottom of the heart with General Secretary of Mahabodhi Society, Bhikkhu Sivali Mahathero, for helping this, helping to form the United Theravada Bhikkhuni Sangha International and giving the guidance and encouraging the bhikkhunis to do these such programs and everything. And he is a driving force, and I wish may Bhante live a healthy and a long life and be able to give guidance and strength and support to the bhikkhunis for a long time. And may Bhante be able to train other bhikkhus also, and may those bhikkhus also help the bhikkhunis in the future to come. And may the bhikkhuni order flourish in the four corners of the world. So I'd like to pay respect to the Bhante Sivali Thero for doing such a service, like Venerable Mahinda Thero went to Sri Lanka and invited the Bhikkhuni Sanghamitra Theri and started the Bhikkhuni order there and looked after and helped to establish it there. I feel the history is repeating now again from India. Mahabodhi Society, the Bhikkhuni order started and they were sent to Sri Lanka, and now again Bhante Sivali Thero is taking care of them and helping them, and because this is such a vital part in Bhikkhuni survival and Bhikkhuni order to flourish, that the Bhikkhu Sangha helps them and give them the support and the strength and the courage and be there to protect them and be in their side. So that's how Buddha meant for it to go. And it's we need that elder brother's support, and we are so lucky nowadays that Bhante Sivali, and also same like Bhante's, there are other bhikkhus in around the world who are in support. So I hope that that support will increase, and I put my feet and bow down to all those Bhikkhu Sangha members who support the bhikkhunis with loving, kind heart, with compassion, and may their support continue, and may they be able to see the effort that they put to support the bhikkhunis are actually worth. May the bhikkhunis serve the world. The world is in fire, so may the bhikkhunis be able to serve the world so people can find peace and happiness. So may everyone be able to happy when they support the bhikkhunis. May everyone be able to find the happiness by helping and supporting the bhikkhunis, so they understand it's not something that is not good, but it is something that's needed in the world. And let us pray that may the bhikkhuni order flourish, and may the women be able to find refuge in the bhikkhunis, and may they also find the path to become a bhikkhuni and find the final liberation from all the samsaric suffering, and may everyone attain enlightenment. And also, I would like to share my merits, and heart, from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank Venerable Santini Mahadevi from Indonesia for coordinating this Dhamma program on behalf of United Theravada Bhikkhuni Sangha International, and putting her heart and doing a lot of hard work with the help of Venerable Sumangala and all the other bhikkhunis helping this, and also all the other bhikkhunis doing all the hard work. I want to pay my respect and also share merits with them, and thank bottom of my heart for the hard work, the time, the effort, energy, everything that you put into the United Theravada Bhikkhuni Sangha International to serve and help the womankind and also the whole world. Also, I would like to share the merits today with Ajahn Vayama, the first bhikkhuni who got ordained in Australia soil. Ajahn Vayama passed away 3 months ago, and today is the 3-month memorial day. So may she also find peace and happiness wherever she is. We remember her dedication, the hard times that she went through. She's the first nun to go to that land in Gijigana and started Dhammasara Nuns Monastery. Today it's the Bhikkhuni monastery that flourishing with bhikkhunis, but who gave the leadership to that was Ajahn Vayama. So Ajahn Vayama will never leave our heart. We will always remember her with so much gratitude for planting the seeds in Australia, for the bhikkhunis to flourish in Australia. So with whatever the merits that we have generated today by conducting this program, whatever the understandings we have developed, let us share these merits with our beloved late Ajahn Vayama, and also with Bhikkhuni Kusuma, and also with any bhikkhu or bhikkhuni who are in need of the merits and who would like to rejoice in these merits. May they all be able to have access to these merits, and may they all partake in these merits. And from wherever they are, may they rejoice in these merits and find peace and happiness. And may they all be born in a good realm, and may they all be able to continue to do their bodhisattva work. And one fine day, as and when they wish to attain full enlightenment, may these merits bring causes and conditions for them also to attain full enlightenment as soon as possible. So with that, I would like to stop my speech here. But if anyone has any questions, I'm quite happy to give you, we have some time for the questions. So if someone has any question to take, I'm quite happy to take those questions.
Thank you, the Venerable Bhikkhuni Bodhicitta Teri, for your blessings. May all beings happy, liberated from all suffering, and may all of us advancing in Dhamma, practice and knowledge, that we may realize Nibbana as soon as we possible. Now is coming for the question and answer. Ayah, we have several questions that is being posted. So for others who would like to post the question and answer, you can post it into the chat box of UTBSI or to my chat box, Megawati Santoso. There are several questions, Ayah. The first one is, why are, this is come from Sister Jessica Chang. Why are there differences in recognition of Bhikkhuni order in Theravada and Mahayana tradition respectively? What is actually the significant difference between the tradition and why there is differences in recognition? Would you mind to elaborate on that, Venerable? Thank you.
Sure. So in order to answer this question, we need to go into the history. So let's look into the history. Then you will understand. First, we need to know why there is this Theravada and Mahayana. How did that come to be? Then you can understand. So after Buddha passed away, even during the Buddha's time, there were people diligently who practiced the Buddha Dhamma. There were people who came to the sasana to not to really practice, but it was an easy way of living because the kings were supporting, merchants were supporting, so everyone who was in the order was getting the support. So they thought, that's an easy way to live. So they came and just became, the members of the Sangha just for the sake of easy living. Then after Buddha passed away, someone actually spilled this out from their mouth saying, well, now the boss is gone, we can live the way we want. There won't be any restrictions. So Venerable Mahākassapa heard this and then he decided, this is not a good sign. So we need to make sure that everything is in a fixed form, recorded, what Buddha taught and what Buddha didn't say, what Buddha encouraged us to do and what Buddha said not to do. So Venerable Mahākassapa spoke with other senior Sangha members and they decided to come together and recite everything that Buddha had taught, what to do, what not to do, the Sutta Pitaka and the Vinaya Pitaka. So then, as you know, Venerable Ananda Mahathero and Venerable Upali Mahathero and 500 monks come together. And sorry, I forgot the number, how many arahants. Lot of arahants come together and they all recited. Ananda Maharahatan Mahanse recited what he had heard from Buddha, because he had this agreement with the Buddha that every time when Buddha teaches something that he will let Ananda Hamudru know that what Buddha taught. So Venerable Ananda Thero recited the Sutta Pitaka and Venerable Upali Thero recited the Vinaya Pitaka. Then after 100 years, there was kind of another questions and arguments and things were coming up among the Sangha. And some said, it's a bit difficult to keep all these Vinaya rules. It is not timely. I think it's time to change the Vinaya, some of these Vinaya rules, the minor rules and like that. Then again, the senior Sangha members said, well, let's come together because there's no authority here on one single person. So we have to come together as a Sangha council and then let's decide whether we can lift up any minor rules or not. What can we do about it? About these questionable Vinaya rules. Then everyone come together, and then the senior Sangha members decided to keep all the Vinaya rules as it is. So they said, well, this is what Buddha said, and so we can't change. We just have to continue with everything. Then the young monks who were in big numbers were not happy. So then after they left the Congress, they started leaving the temples. They said, well, if you want to keep following this Vinaya strictly, you do it, we are leaving. So these monks, the young ones, but they were in Maha, big numbers. Hina means little, Maha means big. So this, the majority, the Maha Sangha, majority left their parent temples, and they went and started setting up their own temples, and they started living with their own way. And then the people start questioning this senior Sangha members. Senior in Pali is Thera. So when the devotees came to the temples, they asked the Theras, where's their monks? The temple seems to be empty. Where are they all? So they said, well, they wanted to change the Vinaya rules and we didn't like it, so they left. Oh, so people then did not support these young monks. Then the young monks have to come with a good argument so that they could find the support. So then what happened? They said, when the people went and asked them why and what and this, that and the other, then they said saying, well, you know, we are not in a rush to get enlightened, like the Theras are doing. The Theras are very selfish and they want to get enlightened in this very life, become Arahat, and that's it. That's what they want to do. But if they want to do, that's fine. But we don't want to do that. We have the interest to become a Bodhisattva, and we want to stay here and help every living being to attain liberation, and then only we want to get enlightened. So our job we can't do in one lifetime. So we don't have to really follow the Vinaya so strictly like that. We have eons and eons to go in samsara. So we will slowly develop the Dasaparamita. And one day when all beings are free from suffering, we will attain enlightenment. We are following the Buddha's footsteps. We want to become a Buddha. Okay, that is not bad. That's a good aspiration. So the majority was in that. The young monks was the majority, the Maha. The number was big. So it became the great vehicle. So they are now the Mahayana, and the few numbers that was left was the Hinayana, but in the Hinayana, who was there was the Theras. So that also became the Theravada. And then, again, then they supported them and they thought, that's good, yes, to become an Arahat is selfish. So now they started looking down upon the Theravada, Thera monks, thinking, why they want to get enlightened and finish it off? That is selfish. And then the Theras have to say, well, you know, we have the true Dhamma of the Buddha. This is what Buddha said, is to get enlightened here and now in this life. And we know that Dhamma, Abhidhamma, the Gamburu Dharma, or the essence of the Dhamma, or the deepest part of the Dhamma is what we know, and that's what we practice. And so we are the ones who know the Abhidhamma, and we teach the Abhidhamma, and it is for the salvation of the being to here and now. So then the counter answer came from the other end saying, well, no, we have the Shunyata. You know, we are the ones who know the deep end. What Buddha taught is the Shunyata. And we know, so the counter answer to the Abhidhamma in Theravada, in Mahayana, what they call is the Shunyata. So they said, no, we have the Shunyata. And so they asked, how did you get about this Shunyata Sutra? When Buddha was in Tavatimsa realm, Buddha taught this Dhamma to the mother, and the Devas were listening, and the Nagas were listening, and later at a time, these Nagas bought this, whatever that Buddha was teaching in Tavatimsa realm to the earth and gave it to the Vimalakirti king, and that is how these sutras came and blah blah blah. And then like this, so the arguments went back and forth, and this is how in Theravada, even with the Abhidhamma, they have about 11 schools of Abhidhamma. This is all about arguments about the anicca, dukkha, anatta, especially the anatta aspect. So what we have today as Theravada in Sri Lanka, and it is from Sri Lanka, the Thailand, Burma, they all connected. What we have is Vibhajyavada. It is one school in that Hinayana, in that Theravada at that time, is the Vibhajyavada. So that is the Vibhajyavada that was followed by the Moggaliputta Thero during the time of the Asoka King Asoka. And then it was the Mahinda Thero, and the Sangamitta Thero was a disciple of this Moggaliputta Hamudro. Moggaliputta Hamudro was a Vibhajyavadi. So what we got is the Vibhajyavada, but there is another 10 different schools of Abhidhamma in this Theravada sector. And in Mahayana tradition also, they have 7. So altogether, by the time when King Asoka came to the reign, when he was listening to the teachings of the Buddha, because he was very inspired by that little monk, and then he became a Buddhist, and then wherever he went, he would listen to the monks, and he heard different stories. So that's why he had to do a purification, because there were so many teachings. Anyway, there was 18 schools of Abhidhamma at that time. So there was 18 schools of Abhidhamma at that time when King Asoka was ruling that country. So it is from that King Asoka actually favored the Moggaliputta Thero. And King Asoka's son and daughter was ordained under him. So they got the king's help and the support. So finally, what King Asoka supported was this Vibhajyavada. But later, King Asoka understood, no, that was wrong to get rid of every other school and only to support this. But later, King Asoka really supported all the other sects as well. But first, he wanted to get rid of the rest and only keep this Vibhajyavada. But then, as you know how we have the places in India marked as where this is the birth of the Buddha place, this is where Buddha got enlightened, this is where, and there is this Asoka pillar there. So who showed those places to King Asoka was a different Arahat, who is coming from a different sect. Now, Moggaliputta Thero also was known as an Arahat in the Vibhajyavada, but this other Hamudro, also that venerable was an Arahat too, but from a different sect. So then, through the psychic powers, he was friends with the king, and through the psychic powers, he told the king, look, I see this is where Buddha had born. Let's go and have a look. And when they they found, when they excavated, when they found whatever, and then the King Asoka erected those pillars. So King Asoka had a lot of faith in this Arahant as well, same as with the Moggaliputta Thero, but there was big confusion. So he thought, well, they are believing in 2 different things, but there is Arahat in this sect, Arahat in that sect, and so then, well, King Asoka left all that things aside, and he thought, well, whoever wants to follow what, let them do that. And he stopped executing and throwing others out from the borders, because before he did that, but now he stopped that, and he let anyone and everyone practice what they want to practice. So there have been these different schools. I think it's after 100 years of Buddha's passing away, these differences started, arguments started. and different schools trying to explain Buddha's teaching in different ways. I guess what happened, instead of practicing and realizing the anatta aspect, we went in theorizing and tried to teach it in the theoretical way, and also having different agendas. So it just split into different orders and sects. So this is how in the history, this is what's recorded, how these sects come to be. And Bhante Punnaji has extensively studied this history of India, history of Buddhism, and that he had pointed out very clearly what had happened in the history and how these differences come to be. So now the Theravada means, now literally what we call Theravada is the Vibhajyavadi. So the Theravadi now, they aim to get enlightened, to become an Arahat in this very life. But the Mahayanis, they don't do that. So Mahayana, they take a Bodhisattva vow. So they want to become a Bodhisattva first. They want to develop the Dasaparamitas. They want to serve others. They want to dedicate their life for to save others, to help others, to develop that loving kindness and compassion, and the service comes first. And after they have served everyone, and when they see everyone is free from suffering, they will attain the Buddhahood. So they are taking that Bodhisattva vow. There are some on the way, some people will change. I have met Mahayana nuns, bhikkhunis, who come to the Theravada meditation retreats, in Thailand, Burma, Sri Lanka. The Mahayana bhikkhunis also come to the meditation retreats. And some of them, they will change their Mahayana vow, and then they will aspire to become enlightened in this very life. There's few like that, because they realize it's not an easy thing to do, to become a Bodhisattva and travel on and on and on, and to become a Buddha, to help everyone. It's not an easy feat, and it's not something that everyone can do. So when someone becomes wise, they change their course. But there are some real bodhisattvas where they take that aspiration and they want to continue. They want to practice, which is a good thing. It's okay. It's a personal choice. It's just the hardest thing to do is to become a Buddha. So if they are taking that path, good luck to them. I bow down and take off my hat and salute. But how possible, whether you can really achieve it or not, or how practical, that's a different matter. But even the thought that they want to sacrifice their life, their enlightenment for others' sake is a good thought. It's a really valuable, selfless thought. So the Mahayanis always really, they dedicate their life to serve, more of the serving. The practice and the service goes together, which is really, really, really good today. More than the Theravadis, the Mahayanis are more famous in the world. The Dalai Lama is more well known than any other Theravada monk. And today, I guess from the Theravada side, Ajahn Brahm is well known, but he is also a true Bodhisattva. You can see how he is always dedicate his time and energy and everything for others. And so Ajahn Brahm practices, balances his practice and service. But more than this Theravada side, the Mahayanis are more, I think, popular in the West and more well known, and I think they have more numbers also, because it's widely spread in India, China, Taiwan, Korea, and everywhere. So the Theravada is limited to Sri Lanka, Burma, Thailand, Cambodia, and now maybe a little bit few in Vietnam and like that. But big numbers are in the other side of the world with the Mahayana. So as you know, the Foguan Sha, that organization is very strong. Dalai Lama's that organization is very strong, and there is another few, Amitabha Buddha Society, and there is some really very well known, very well organized Mahayana societies are there, head by Mahayana bhikkhus and bhikkhunis, and they always even come forward when there is a disaster in the world, or when things need to be done, they come forward and help. So they do a great service to the world, to the Buddhist population as well as the others. And so what we know in West more is the Mahayana folk. But recognizing, I think whether you are a Theravada bhikkhu or bhikkhuni or Mahayana bhikkhu or bhikkhuni, I guess, I don't know, because I'm a monastic, I haven't faced. This is my personal view. I think they recognize them as Sangha. The Theravadians think, I guess, you know, they have more the pure Dhamma and the direct path, and the Mahayana, they think they have, which is fair. So it's like that, but I don't think there is much of a difference in, you know, treating them indifferent, because in the West, they accept anything and everything because they don't know much. But I guess in the Asian background, yes. So if you are coming from Sri Lanka, Burma, Thailand, you're more used to and more prone to the Theravada. And you may not appreciate the Mahayana side. But when you come to the, you know, the China, Korea, Taiwan, Japan, and coming to the West now, it's more the Mahayana. So.
Okay. Thank you very much, Venerable. Actually, there are 5 more questions, Venerable. Is it okay that we put all the questions?
No, I'm okay. If you're okay with the time, I'm quite okay, because at least even if the people are not there, it can be recorded and they can listen to it later.
Right.
I just want to ask the person who asked that question, did it satisfy them?
Yeah, Jessica, Sister Jessica, probably you can post the chat to the USTBI to respond to Venerable whether the explanation is acceptable or clear for you. Jessica, Sister Jessica also asking another question regarding the historical and also region, Venerable. When the Bhikkhuni order was brought from Sri Lanka to China, was the tradition in Mahayana or Theravada then? When the Bhikkhuni was brought from Sri Lanka to China, what is actually the tradition, either Mahayana or Theravada? And the second one, how did Theravada tradition?
Can I answer that first?
Yes, yes, Venerable.
All right. So before I get distracted, so let me answer that, and you can ask the second one after.
All right. All right.
Okay?
Yes,
Yeah.
Venerable.
So at that time, when we go to this Chinese ordination, what we have in our written historical records is about in 432, third, I don't know how you say the century, that in Nanjing city, that this Bhikkhuni Devasara went to the China with 8 nuns first, with this sailor called the Nandi. And how I know this is actually, I haven't read the chronicle, but I have read the books, or I have actually spoken to Professor Hao Wei Min, I'm telling you my resources now, references. So this Professor Hao Wei-min is a Chinese, but he was in the China in university languages, and there was a professor called Professor Leeratatna who went there from Sri Lanka to teach Sinhalese there. And they both actually had visited in 1980 to this place where they had started this first nuns ordination. So Professor Hao Wei-min is in his 80s now. He's still alive. And he is in Sri Lanka, living in Sri Lanka. He's a disciple of this Professor Siripala Leelaratna. So he says they went into like a delegation. The Professor Hao Wei-min and Professor Leelaratna and some other delegations with the Chinese mayor and whoever in that city. They took them to this city in Switching side. In the Switching Chai, and Master Lung Liang is the bhikkhuni who is living there now. When they went, it is directly coming from that ordination. Who is Master Lung Liang, and Professor Leelaratna says that she even wears a robe like the Theravada way, and so it is at this Mahānama king who was in Sri Lanka about the 5th Christu Varsha, Pasvana Siyavase, about this Mahānama king, and this in 428th century, this Devasara bhikkhuni went to this Nanchang city with the invitation of this Venerable Gunabhadra, Guna Varnam, or they say Gunabhadra Bhikkhu, because they were doing it in the Dharmaguptika Vinaya. So who was there was the followers of this Dharmaguptika sect. So when Buddha is there, there was no Hinayana, Mahayana, anything. It was only the Buddhayana. But later, how this got split, you saw in the history. And then later, in those countries, that's what they were following. But pretty much the Four Noble Truths, the Eightfold Path, and the Paticca Samuppada and Vinaya, they are almost the essence is the same, but it is just these peripheral things are, twisted this way and that way. So they were following this Dharmaguptika Vinaya in that Nanchian city. So I would say that they were following this Mahayana philosophy. But that temple is called the Wakang Viharaya, and they call this Venerable Devasara Keshavo Tisara Devasara. So in this Wakang temple, about 300 bhikkhunis who have been ordained according to the Dharmaguptika Vinaya. So already they were nuns, but these monks over there, Venerable Gunavarnam, have thought, no, it's better to give them the Theravada Bhikkhuni ordination, because they have heard about the Venerable Sangamitta story, and they have heard they have the pure lineage there. So they wanted to invite the Venerable Keshavo Tisara Devasara the theory, and about 300 bhikkhunis got reordained according to the Theravada Vinaya. So this Devasara Venerable Bhikkhuni was accompanied by 8 bhikkhunis first, and then later again this Venerable Gunabhadram had said, I think it's better to have more than 10 bhikkhunis for the ceremony. So they have waited again for another group of bhikkhunis to arrive there. So another set of bhikkhunis have arrived, and nearly to around 20 bhikkhunis some have already died and all that. I think about 17 was present at that first bhikkhuni ordination in Nanliang. So this Professor Hao Wei-min says this Master Lung Liang, who was there when they visited in 1980, was wearing this Theravada type of the robe, and so that was at that main temple that they have done. This is in that in Swachong side, in that Verme mountain. And so he says, she has said, oh, we are so happy to have our people coming from our motherland. That is where we got our ordination from. That is what our masters have told. It is the Sri Lankan bhikkhunis who have ordained us. So we take that as our motherland, or our lineage, as our lineage. So even though they are called Mahayana bhikkhunis, actually they were ordained according to the Theravada Vinaya Karma by Theravada bhikkhunis. So that's where I think we have this mistake by calling these Mahayana bhikkhunis Mahayana as Mahayana bhikkhunis, because they were actually ordained by performing this Theravada Vinaya Karma. So they are Theravada bhikkhunis. So the mistake is we calling them in the other way, but the dress code is different. They have cold, so they wear the robes in a different way. You know, in Sri Lanka, Thailand, Burma, we have hot weather. So India, we have hot weather. So we went exactly like what Buddha had asked us to wear and all that. But when it went to the countries where there is ice cold winter, so they have, now that you see the Mahayana, the Korean Mahayana way how they dress and all that, it's a little bit different, but depending on the weather, they have adjusted. But it looks like different, but you know, it's still the robe. It is still something to cover your body, even it looks different. And it is allowable in the Vinaya, the color variation. It's okay. So there is not much of a thing, but people make it into a big deal. But it's not really a big deal when you look into this history. It is the Theravada bhikkhunis who have given the ordination for the Mahayana bhikkhunis, and that's how the Mahayana bhikkhunis order had started. So this was the argument actually when in 1996, when the ordination was brought back from Korea, and also in 1998 from Taiwan. These bhikkhunis were coming from that countries, but the argument was, they are even now the Vinaya that they are following, this Dharmaguptika Vinaya and all that, is very similar to the Vibhajyavada Vinaya. So it's okay, and they got the ordination from Theravada bhikkhunis. So now we are bringing it back from them to the Theravada to restart it. So we had the revival like that. So it is like, you know, I say it like this. We say we take a papaya seed from Sri Lanka to China, and we plant that papaya seed there. But they started to calling it pineapple. And then our papaya tree was lost. So we are looking for papaya. Oh, we see in China, there is the papaya tree. So we bring back the papaya seed. But unfortunately, they call it pineapple. What can we do? For us, it's a papaya tree. So I see it like that.
Yes. Thank you, Venerable. So there is one final question, probably due to the time, Venerable. Is the Theravada tradition was ceased in China? That's the question.
Was the Theravada tradition ceased?
Yes, in China.
That's where I actually like to visit this Master Lung Liang. I don't know whether she's still alive, but I'm sure her tradition is Professor Hao Wei Min is still alive. He's in his 80s. But he said when he met Master Lung Liang, that the head bhikkhuni who is there now was wearing similar robes to Theravada. So I would think they are keeping the Theravada lineage alive. This is why I want to go and see it from my own eyes. I like to go to this city one day and, you know, dig the history, dig the Jurassic Park and see what we can find.
All right, Venerable. Okay, so it is my duty assigned by the organizing committee to probably just figure out a conclusion from your thought, from your talk this morning, Venerable. So I apologize if my conclusion is very shallow and probably not representing what you stated. So this is what I wrote, Venerable. So there were four significant, just a minute, please. There are four significant parameters that change the woman's status in society and spiritual liberation, so that we can have Sangha Bhikkhunis as now. The first one, society was very discriminative towards women. Women are only do domestic functions and works. Second one, Buddha was not discriminative. Buddha's teachings are for all beings. No gender limitation applied for reaching at the highest level of holiness to reach Nibbana. The third parameter is Buddha is the most admirable human being. He was respected by all Brahmins, emperors, kings, sultans at the time, by all castes at the time. The fourth one, the Queen Mahāpajāpatī Gotamī, who had a very strong adhitthana, a very strong will, strong commitment to become bhikkhuni, to bow herself to her own son, and undertook the training patiently until got the enlightenment. So this, because of these four parameters, these factors, we women today can have huge benefit in following Buddha's teaching. So that's the notes that I wrote from your Dhamma deliberation today. Venerable Bodhicitta, would you kindly probably give some correction if I'm noting wrongly? Thank you.
No, it's okay.
All right. Thank you very much, Venerable. So by this time, we will close come to close to the end of the program. I would like to express the sincere gratitude to the Venerable Bhikkhuni Bodhicitta Teri, who already providing us with very wonderful Dhammadesana today. To Venerable Bhikkhuni Santini Mahateri, who already lead the prayer this morning, and also to all participation from the audience in this important event. May the program bring us happiness, peace, and motivation to keep learning and practicing Dhamma. So thank you again, Venerable, and all bhikkhunis, bhikkhus, and also audience who present in this event. Anumodana.
Let me share the merits with Sister Megawati Santoso. So much merits for being the moderator today. And also I would like to share merits once again with Venerable Bhikkhuni Santini Mahateri from Indonesia for being the coordinator for this program and doing this hard work on behalf of the United Theravada Bhikkhuni Sangha International. And I wish her all the best and congratulations, and may you have more and more strength and the courage to do a lot more work like this. So many women say the Upasikas can benefit from this. And also I would like to share merits with anyone and everyone who has helped Venerable Santini behind the curtain, behind the stage, doing all the hard work, making the presentations and everything, all her devotees and supporters. and whoever has put hard work to bring this program a success one. I want to thank them as well. And again, I would like to thank all the Bhikkhuni Mahatheris who are living today and giving the leadership and guiding us. I want to thank them, and also all the Bantes, the founder of this, Sivali Bante Mahatero, and also all the other monks who support this, and also the other nuns who support this. And also I would like to thank all of you who joined today, and would like to share merits with all of you. May all of you find good health and long life, and may all of you and all beings find success towards the path of Nibbana, and may you find success in all the good aspirations and all the good noble things that you do, and may you penetrate into the Four Noble Truths, and may you all attain the Nibbana as soon as possible. May you all find the freedom of suffering as soon as possible. May you all be well, comfortable, peaceful, and happy. And may the departed, our bhikkhus and bhikkhunis, also share these merits. Especially, let's think of Ajahn Vayama again. May she also benefit from these merits, and all the other bhikkhus and bhikkhunis who are departed ones. And may they also find a good birth and practice the Dhamma and be a bodhisattva, help many as much as they can, and may they also attain Nibbana as soon as possible. So I would like to wish all of you good health, long life. May you all be well, comfortable, peaceful, and happy, and may you all attain Nibbana as soon as possible. Sukhi hotu. Teruvan Saranai. Abhivadana Silisa Nichang Buddha Pachaino Chataro Dhamma Vadhanti Ayuvarno Sukhang Balang Ayurarogya Sampatti Sagga Sampatti Mevacha Ato Nibbana Sampatti Iminate samejjatu. Sopaseva, nidukveva, nirogiveva, sukhi hotu, tum nivaning sanasima labeva. May you all attain Nibbana in this very life. Sukhi hotu. Teruvan Saranai.
Sadhu, sadhu. Anumodana, Bhikkhuni. Thank you. So by this, we will close the program. I provide to the host to probably end the meeting. Thank you.